Happy Friday. Today on the podcast, there is so much breaking news in AI that I'm actually going to bring you 4 different news stories. We're going to talk about Baidu, IBM, Salesforce, a tiny island in the Caribbean that is killing it because of AI, and we're going to finish it off by talking about some new changes that X is making. But before we get into all of these amazing stories that I'm going to try to speed run for you today to keep you up to date so you can get out of the office and live your weekend, I want to tell you about some embarrassing statistics. I brought this up before. I got to tell you again. That is the fact that right now on the podcast, 70.5% of the listeners are from Apple Podcasts. Congratulations, Apple Podcasters. You're currently winning. On Spotify, we have 8.3% of our listeners on Spotify. This is a tiny, minuscule number. Now, here's the embarrassing part. When you look at the reviews of the podcast, currently we have 69 reviews on Apple, and we have a whopping 121 reviews on Spotify. I don't know what's wrong with you people over on Spotify. You guys are raving lunatics and obviously rate this show way too much. But over to Apple Music, if you are listening on the platform, which 70% of you are, you need to go make sure to drop a review to try to even these numbers out. This is embarrassing. We don't want these people over on Spotify making us Apple listeners look bad. All right, let's get on to the docket for today. Welcome to the AI Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Make sure that you go to aibox.ai, link in the show notes, to join the waitlist for our new AI platform. We're going to be launching an incredible platform that allows you to build anything you want with workflows in AI. So you're able to chain together ChatGPT and image generators and audio generators to make really powerful apps for your organization, or you can host them on our marketplace and actually generate royalties from them. So make sure to go to aibox.ai and join the waitlist. In addition, if you like the podcast, if you could do me a massive favor and please leave us a review on Apple or Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast. This helps me be able to get better guests on here as they check the reviews to see how you guys are liking it. So if you could please do that, I would really, really appreciate it. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. The first thing I want to talk about is that there is a tiny island called Tiny Anguilla, and this island is a small Caribbean island, and it is profiting massively from everything we're seeing in AI today, and that is because of the internet domain ending in .ai. To be honest, I have a .ai, I have a couple .ai names I have for different companies, and I assumed that these actually stood for artificial intelligence. I guess this was naive, and I should have known that .ai actually stands for Anguilla, which is a Caribbean island. But because they own that and they kind of control that, they are making an absolute killing from the fact that everyone is registering these .ai domain names right now. And since ChatGPT's launch, the developer that is managing the country's domains estimates that revenue is going to hit around $30 million this year, which, let's be honest, is a massive boost for a tiny Caribbean island, especially because pretty much the island is resilient or relies on tourism for their entire economy. That's just kind of a fun fact for you today. The second thing I want to bring up is the fact that Baidu, which is a big tech giant in China, they have officially released their ChatGPT rival. We talked about this earlier in the year. They have something called ErnieBot, but they've officially released this to the public, and this has sent the company's stock absolutely surging. So the move comes on the heels of Wednesday's announcement that that China is going to start approving its first AI models, and a lot of people are very excited and hyped about what ErnieBot's going to do. And it's allegedly like a better AI model for Chinese. It's like killing OpenAI there. It's left to be seen. We're going to have to look as this thing is finally now going to be launched to the public. The third piece of news that I wanted to bring to you today is the fact that IBM and Salesforce have teamed up on AI. So they are joining forces to bring AI tools and consulting to their mutual customers. The companies announced on Thursday, IBM is going to provide consulting to help clients integrate and adopt the wealth of Salesforce AI technologies, including Sales GPT, Service GPT, Salesforce Einstein, Slack GPT and Marketing GPT. In case you didn't know, Salesforce owns Slack. So this is absolutely a big move. These are two very big companies, and seeing them join up, I think is a big play. Obviously, Salesforce has went pretty hard on developing a bunch of these models here. And these are all great tools. IBM, doing a lot of consulting, is going to start pushing that forward. The third piece of AI news here comes from the fact, I saw this first on Twitter, but essentially X, which is, formerly Twitter, X, has updated their privacy policy and has added a mention of using X data to train AI models. This is what they've just, the phrasing they've actually added. I've seen a screenshot of the privacy policy. It says, we may use the information we collect and publicly available information to help train our machine learning or artificial intelligence models for the purposes outlined in this policy. And then, of course, it goes on to the rest of the policy. Now, what's interesting is very quickly after this was tweeted out, Elon Musk actually commented on the tweet and said, just public data, not DMs or anything private. So this is very interesting. This has obviously been confirmed. It's kind of interesting because, usually there's like a press room or whatever, a press team at a different company that you could like reach out for comment. But in this case, it's like you tweet about it. Elon Musk just immediately responds to all the news stories about his companies. It's kind of funny. And actually with Twitter, for a while, when you would send a press request to Twitter, they would just respond back with a poop emoji. They have now updated that. And I believe if you send a press request, it just says, we'll get back to you soon, which I don't think they will, but I'm assuming the new CEO thought that'd be a little bit more professional. In any case, the recent update in this policy, I think, really kind of indicates a shift towards a more comprehensive data collection, including biometric data and users' employment and education background. So this was actually reported recently by Bloomberg, this kind of biometric data, employment, education background collection that they're doing. And I think this move may be more than just a standard policy update. Another section released the fact that they're going to be using this for the AI stuff, like I just mentioned. And I think that this observation was brought to light by a number of different people on AI, which I think is, X, which I think is always fun that people on the platform are discovering these things and sharing them. And I think that these latest findings have captured the attention on Y Combinator's discussion forum, Hacker News. If you don't know Hacker News, you definitely should be on there. It's Y Combinator's discussion forum, but they have all sorts of breaking, trending AI and tech news like every single day, and you kind of get people's opinions on it. It's really, really, it's a solid place for news. In any case, the revised policy change is explicitly mentioned in section 2.1. It's exactly what I read earlier. But I think the plot thickens a little bit when you start to consider the ambitions of X Corp's owner Elon Musk in the AI sector. So Musk has, of course, also owns another company, XAI, that he launched. We've covered this in the past. And a lot of people are theorizing that the data collected by X Corp could potentially serve as a valuable resource for XAI's machine learning endeavors. This, I don't think, is speculation or conspiracy theory or anything. I think this is just kind of like in XAI when they launched XAI. They did a bunch of like press releases and stuff and like spaces and everything. I think they explicitly said like, we're going to use the X Twitter data to help us with this. So it makes a lot of sense. They have one of the biggest data sets, biggest social media platforms. It's obviously lost a massive valuation. So this is a great way to recoup costs is by, tying this to an AI company. And this goes along with the fact that they actually banned or shut off the API access of OpenAI earlier this year from using Twitter data, because previously they kind of just had the fire hose for free. So they're, shut it off. They may charge for it in the future, or maybe they just want to use it to help train their own AI models. So Musk has earlier indicated that X is going to train its AI models using public tweets. He even criticized tech giants for using Twitter data for training and went as far as threatening Microsoft with a lawsuit over alleged illegal use of Twitter data. Additionally, Musk also filed legal actions against unidentified entities for data scraping. So this is likely aimed at collecting data for training advanced AI models. He didn't say like who these entities were, and I don't think he singled out Microsoft in this. A lot of people were speculating on which companies this might be, but apparently like massive amounts of people or massive amounts of data was getting scraped really rapidly from Twitter, and they had to take a bunch of steps. A bunch of things broke in the process where they were trying to shut it down pretty much. But I think this really goes to show the importance for a lot of these big platforms and companies in really protecting their data and keeping it, out of the hands of what is going to be their competitors now or future competitors in the future. So I think in alignment with a lot of these developments, the XAI homepage says that although it operates as a separate entity from X Corp, it aims to, quote, work closely with X or Twitter, Tesla, and other companies to make progress towards our mission. So Elon Musk obviously took X Corp's platform. He went on Twitter, X, whatever, to confirm these policy changes. And I think it's interesting, right? He said that he's only going to be using public data and not your direct messages or private user info for the actual data training. So that is good. I'm sure a lot of people will criticize it. I'm sure that it's going to also be beneficial to his companies. So it's going to be interesting to see what continues happening with this story.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. That's the sound of switching your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Harness the best converting checkout and same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Stop leaving sales on the table. Discover why millions trust Shopify to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech23.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.